I got asked earlier today to settle the Wes Rucker versus Brandon Walker debate, and I didn't know what it was. So it's explained here by Eric, but I'm going to actually tee up a second tweet, and it is from Wes Rucker. Wes Rucker works for our Tennessee site. He's been there a long time. Good dude, friend of the program. So here's what Wes said. For those of you listening on podcast, he said, Tennessee being really good has always been and will always be really good for college football because almost no one is ambivalent about the Vols. People love them or hate them. And when you see their shade of orange, you know exactly who it is. Big brand. Makes the sport better. Fair enough, right? I mean, you could argue or disagree with some of that, but I mean, it's Tennessee's good. And generally speaking, you know, people pay attention to Tennessee. I don't know if they're loved or hated in Seattle and LA and New York, but I thought that at the very least, some interesting concepts were presented there, right? And if you disagree, you know, there's a tactful way to go about responding. Tactful would in no shape, form, or fashion describe our buddy Brandon Walker. And so Brandon Walker gets a hold of this, and I'm going to play you some audio here. And Colin has it teed up, and I will just let you hear for yourself how he responded. This is the aforementioned debate that I was asked about, and then I will give you my take. Roll it.
But I promise you, if Tennessee disappeared tomorrow like they did the last 10 years, college football would keep right on marching. They'd keep right on going. College football is bigger than any one program. If Ohio State quits tomorrow, college football keeps right on trucking. If Nick Saban quits tomorrow and Alabama is dead and gone, college football keeps right on going. Don't you on my leg and tell me it's raining and saying, oh my goodness, college football is so much better with Tennessee good. No, you big orange idiots. You think it's better because you're good. That's why you think it's better. Oh my goodness, college football is so much better when we're good. Well, no hillbillies. Don't act like, oh, they saw our orange. They know who we are. Oh my goodness, we're so great. You ain't special. Welcome back. Good to see you. Hope you stay a while. Stop acting like the rest of us were just lost until you got here.
So there's a tactful way to go about responding, as I said. And then you got Brandon Walker, who runs in the room like a jackhammer operator. And that's how he chose to respond. So I got Wes over here making the bold claim that college football's better when Tennessee's good. And then I got Brandon Walker stumbling into the room yelling, absolutely not. College football survived without Tennessee. And I'm over here in the third corner saying, couldn't both of these be true? Couldn't both of these guys meet in the middle and say, you're right, shake hands, go our separate ways? College football doesn't need Tennessee, true enough. I don't necessarily think that's what our buddy Wes said. I think our buddy Wes said it's better when Tennessee's good. So, I mean, I agree with Brandon Walker. You don't need them. They don't need Alabama. College football, I've always disagreed with people who say college football needs any one thing. College football doesn't need any one thing. Not even this show. College football doesn't need any one brand to thrive. We've seen that. We've seen college football thrive with Bama down and with Bama good, with Tennessee down, with Tennessee good, etc. So it's true enough. You don't need them. But man, how is anyone about to sit here and tell me it's not at least marginally better when brands like Tennessee are rolling? I was there last Saturday night, and I've watched for a while, especially the SEC East being complete trash without Tennessee, and I greatly prefer this brand. I greatly prefer the model where we occasionally have this happening up in Knoxville. I prefer a model of college football where in half of the SEC, Georgia has to at least break a mild sweat before they get to Atlanta. That would be nice. Okay, so I'm going to agree with Wesley Rucker. Yeah, overall, I would say this is better. Did we do this segment just to give ourselves the excuse to replay a lot of the footage the iJosh shot last Saturday night in Neyland Stadium? Absolutely we did. And you got to excuse me for filibustering here while I just get to watch this footage again. I haven't watched it in a few days. That's great. Now look, I need you to be careful. I'm talking to our friends in Knoxville now. Let me take a sip of your orange liquid. I need you guys to be careful. I think most of you know better, but some of you may not. Don't be drawn into all these playoff scenarios. It is not even Halloween. Don't be drawn into all these playoff scenarios and what would happen if you had one loss and they had one loss and they had one loss. Just I know you're probably not worried about UT Martin, that's fair. Worry about Kentucky. Worry about Kentucky, and then worry about Georgia. And then you got back-to-back road games to end the regular season. Look, worry about what's in front of you. And there's going to be somebody really sarcastic that comes back in the comments and says, it doesn't matter what the fan base is thinking. It only matters what the team is thinking. You'd be shocked at how much a team's mentality reflects that of the fan base. You know why? Because they're not robots that get put on a shelf 6 days a week inside the athletic complex. They're out amongst these people. So believe it or not, sometimes what gets said ends up being adopted, and a mood outside, if you're not careful, ends up creeping inside. That's part one. Part two, that I am so happy to rid ourselves of, or at least begin to rid ourselves of, is this lie that got repeated over and over and over again. That Tennessee's time had come and gone, just like Nebraska's had come and gone. You may be right about Nebraska. You were never right about Tennessee. You were never right that the ingredients that once made them a national power were no longer available. It's like Tennessee goes and tries to restock up on the winning formula, and the computer screen says, out of order, or we don't make that anymore. Yeah, you do. Good culture, hiring the right people, which is most important after that culture, and then recruiting good athletes and getting some of them out of the portal if you need to sprinkle as cherries on top. Yeah, that's a winning combination. It's never been impossible there. They just didn't have the right people in-house. And now they do. And voila. Look at that. Didn't even take that long, did it? And so I just ask you, yes, don't put the cart ahead of the horse, but at the same time, to the rest of the folks who tried to claim that this brand could never be a brand anymore, what you're seeing now was capable of being done in 2012 and 2018 and 2021. It's finally happening, but this is not an accident. This is just what happens when you put together the right combination of ingredients. So, early congratulations, now keep it rolling. Guys, thanks for watching Late Kick. Make sure to leave a comment. I love interacting with you. But most of all, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. That's how we keep all of this free.